G'day, Adrian here for Hardcourts in Wollongong. Just talking to you today about the difference between a database buyer and a marketing buyer. So, over the years of my career, I come across situations where owners are thinking about selling and they call, say myself for example, and a couple of other agents around, and they try and get a price. Now, sometimes what happens is another agent is called in and says, you know what, I've got a buyer on my database that would buy this home. The owner says, oh great, well if you've got a buyer on your database, just bring them around, and if you sell the property, then I'll give the commission to you. So what happens is that, let's say the luck should have it that that buyer is on the database and they come around, they have a look at the property, they say, yeah, I really like it, and they go and buy it. Then I call up and say, hey, how are you going there? Are you ready to go on the market? They say, guess what? The guy had a buyer already and we wanted to go with you, but he had a buyer and we went with him and we've sold it. So my talk today is really about what's the difference between a database buyer and a marketing buyer. The reason being is that I personally don't believe that in all cases the database buyer is the best one. And there's a couple of points I'd like you to consider. Reason number one, a database buyer, if they've been introduced to a home and it hasn't hit the market, there's no pressure. There's no pressure on them to perform at a great speed. There's no pressure on them to offer the highest price, and there's really no competition. So sometimes that buyer is the worst buyer to bring into the property because there's no urgency, there's no competition there, and it's not going to force their hand to act swiftly and pay the best price. Okay, so secondly, and this is the most important reason, is that by going with the database buyer and not the marketing buyer, you've really limited your market. So there are several components of advertising a property. One, as everyone knows, is a signboard, and another one is the internet, another one might be brochures, another one might be the press or the local paper. Video is another one. There's a lot of mediums that you can use when advertising a property. And each one of them appeals to a particular type of buyer. So a signboard, for example, is really good for those buyers that circle the streets and have a look at the new neighbourhood that they're sussing out and trying to buy into. They will drive into cul-de-sacs and dead-end streets and things like that, and when they see a signboard, it'll arouse their interest and they will inquire within. So if you are removing the signboard out of the equation, you've now said to yourself ineffectively that you are going to remove those buyers out of the marketplace. And the next one could be the internet. So you haven't got on the internet, so therefore you've now eliminated all of your internet buyers. You're not in the paper, so you've now eliminated all of your press advertising buyers who like to pick up the paper every single week and look at the new properties for sale. So can you see where I'm leading with this? If it seems like an attractive idea at the beginning to say to the agent that says, I've got a database with a buyer that would love to buy this property, and you go with that, it might seem like an attractive idea. Well, it's quicker. If they buy it straight away, you wouldn't have to pay any marketing costs, and they might pay a price that you're happy with, and therefore expedites the whole process. It can you move on quicker. Look, if that's your circumstance and that's really the way you want to go, that's fine with me. But the argument that I'm really displaying here is that if you've now limited your signboard, or erased really your signboard buyers, your internet buyers, your press buyers, so you've got everything hinged on one guy or a couple or whatever it might be to buy your home and pay the maximum price, to me that is a really big risk. For the sake of advertising costs of say maybe $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 or even $3,000, it makes no sense to me why you wouldn't explore the market and perhaps get 10 or 15 or 30 or 50 buyers interested in your home, and knowing that if there's one buyer that comes on the market and says, look, I'd love to buy your home, here's an offer, by the way, there's another offer competing, and now you've got buyer A and buyer buyer B competing against each other and upping the price. That's what marketing is all about, and that's why going on the market and finding the marketing buyer is the attractive option and the best option for you. So there you have it. If you need any more tips or hints, make sure you subscribe down below and stay up to date with my YouTube blogs. If you'd like to contact me, simply go to my website www.adriandamico.com.au. Chat to you soon.